it's actually scary. It was crazy because there are people who will have no chance to reproduce because of this issue that is going on in dating. Okay, and sometimes it's like I wonder if our genes tend to like have some way of letting us know that we are not going to produce, we are not going to procreate. Whether we have some kind of internal mechanism, okay, that our genes don't let us know, okay, you are not going to reproduce, your genes or your lineage will not be passed on. And it's almost like we are living in two different worlds because it's like they advise that, oh, it is hard to talk to women group, give does not correlate with, oh, it is easy to talk to women group. And it's really confusing because each group think that they are right on their own point while other people are wrong. Again, what up with you? I don't stand for another day and I'm making another video talking about something very interesting, which is dating and relationship, right? And although it's not my expertise, but I did some studies and I want to share it with you guys now. You see, at this point in time, dating, some people see it as an issue, okay? And if we look at studies in general, right, they are referring like dating in this era at this point is a crisis stuff. But even why some people see it as a crisis stuff and an issue, right? There are very few people who see it the other way around. Okay, and I beg you, please do not look into social media because social media is not the best place to look for advice on dating because they have a very contradictory opinion out there. Okay, now if you see what is going on right with dating in general, right, there are some guys that are saying that it's very hard to talk to women. Okay, some are saying that talking to women is like mental torture. Some are even saying that some are not even planning. Okay, some are now even planning to be alone, to stay alone because they don't understand or they don't even know or learn what a relationship actually looks like. Okay, now why there are other these groups? Okay, there are also other guys who are like, bro, I talk to ladies on instead. Okay, wherever I go, I talk to ladies, be it church, be it club, be it anywhere that I feel like I talk to women. Now you see that most men, right, are having difficulty talking to girls, while others are like it is easy. Okay, just put yourself out there, and it even appears to be that most men are having this difficulty than women. Or most men are the ones that are going through this crisis than women. Okay, so what is actually going on in depth, right? According to Dr. K, that's the person like I watched video from, I kind of like learned some kind of things, right? According to what he said that what's actually going on in his own words is natural selection. Is that you adapt to the current circumstances that is changing, or you die. You don't procreate, you don't produce. Now when you look at it, guys, some people look at the word as dating, meeting people, okay, talking to women, okay, while some, like I said before, see it as a hard thing. Some see it as a very pretty and easy thing. And it's almost like we are living in two different worlds because it's like they advise that, oh, it is hard to talk to women group, give does not correlate with, oh, it is easy to talk to women group. And it's really confusing because each group think that they are right on their own point while other people are wrong. Now if you look at this particular bed, okay, this bed, they are the same type of bed, okay, but the way to differentiate them is by their beaks, and they are being called finches. Okay, finches. Now they have the not cracking finches, which is their beak is like suitable to crack nuts. Right, they have the one that their beak is suitable to dig the ground to pick up worms and insects. Now imagine putting these two type of finches or this two type of bed, right, where one has no access to food. Probably let's say the insect finches have no access to food. I bet that what we are seeing, or I bet that we'll see what is happening to human happening in terms of those finches, because now the nut cracking finches will be like, okay, that the nut cracking finches to the big, to the warm digging finches, you'll be like, bro, just try a little harder, you'll get the food. But now the insect picking finches who does not by nature does not have the beak for nut cracking, it will be hard for them. So the nature of nut cracking is not suitable for the digging insect finches. Okay, now that's the same situation that we are seeing in terms of humans or men, in terms of getting ladies. Okay, and this is what natural selection is. According to Dr. K again, say that, you know, because natural selection, right, is not about adaptation in response to an environment effect. It is usually the people who are already adaptive that tend to survive and procreate. So it is not you. It is not you trying to adapt. It is you already like you already adapted to the current circumstances. If not, you either tend to die out or you tend to adapt to the circumstances. That is what natural selection is, and that's the issue we are facing. It's more like survival of the fittest, not survival of fittest in the meaning of beauty or in being raped or in being handsome, but survival of the fittest, meaning people who have the skills, who are well suited to fit their environment or their current climate, their current change in the environment. Okay, now if you look at it right, it's actually scary. It was crazy because there are people who will have no chance to reproduce because of this issue that is going on in dating. Okay, and sometimes it's like I wonder if our genes tend to like have some way of letting us know that we are not going to produce, we are not going to procreate. Whether we have some kind of internal mechanism, okay, that our genes don't let us know, okay, you are not going to reproduce, your genes or your lineage will not be passed on. And if it actually does exist, it will look like this essential level of panic, okay, of like, I have no ability to meet people and procreate and have children. I have no ability to meet women, procreate to them and have children. And these are people who tend to, or let's say these are most people, because of this kind of lifestyle of not having the ability to meet people and procreate. These are people who are no more living for something anymore. They are just slowly being extinguished by the changes in life. Okay, now what is this natural selection that we're talking about, right? If we're going to look for an example, let us use the example of COVID, right? There was a point whereby each one of us were being forced to in-person, to meeting people, right? Like it's a necessity, like it's something that we have to do, like we always want to meet people. When the world was not over-saturated, even though you have social anxiety, even though you are an introvert, the world demanded you to meet people, to meet women, to one or two women, right? And I'm speaking of then, because then, you know, the world was not over-saturated. But the world that we're living today, if you don't try really hard to meet people, you probably won't encounter meetups with either man or woman, because now literally everybody tends to work from home. You get deliveries at home. Churches are on Zoom, Google Meet. Okay, so it's like everything is designed to make you obese and be like, you know, just like that, obese. And the case is supposed to be that you are supposed to be socializing, even at least be forced to socialize. Even if you look at the dating world, okay, we have dating apps now, okay, because now at this point now, it is the most reliable thing, dating apps, where you can just swipe through men and through women, and just be like, you know, floating. And you know the worst part, the people who are likely to float of the top 1% of people who are being recognized in a dating app are the ones who are physically attractive, and they are the ones that will tend to get the attention. Okay, so there are a lot of things that have changed during that post-COVID time, like decreasing unstructured face-to-face time, decrease in love, decrease in intimacy. There's no bond in relationship. Okay, so for the post-COVID, there are people who are very well adaptive and people who are not. Okay, and for the unstructured face-to-face type of which we need more now these days, it's gone. People are no more going up and meeting people and introducing themselves anymore, and that's why I'm really, really glad to see guys entering into cold approach more, because that's what we need these days. Okay, that's what we need people, just going up, approaching them, talking your shit, because that is what's actually needed in this overly saturated world. It's even harder these days to take a chance on these people. It's really hard, and now I'm really glad to see people. So if you are doing good approach, I give you your flowers. I give you your flowers. Okay, and dating apps now these days is what most people tend to rely on. Okay, to get your mate, your partner, because you can be lying down, swiping left or right to find your mate. So at that point, it costs nothing. It's not risky, but even though although it costs later on the line, but at that point it costs nothing. So I don't know if it's declining, because it's really, really confusing even for me, because like now, I'll be honest, then back in my secondary school, right, I had it easy. Okay, but now it's really not that easy, and I don't know what's going on. Okay, back then in my secondary school, I had it easy, but now it's literally not easy. I don't have them ladies telling me I'm boring. So it's not seeing what is going on. Is that I adapt to the changed circumstances of my world I'm living in, or I just die out. I just let life tend to extinguish me slowly. And at this point, we kind of live in a society whereby if a relationship is not working, like it's not working well, you get advice of, you can just find 1,000 more persons or 1,000 more people, be it is a man or a man. Okay, so just abandon the fucking relationship, don't try to fix it. Okay, and you see, right, we live in a world where everyone is moving on to the next thing. Okay, and people are very, very physically attractive who can rotate through relationship. We have no trouble in finding a partner. They won't be able to not succeed in an environment that is changing every single time, because why they have what they call an unfair advantage, which is what their physical attractiveness. Okay, now the question is, what do we do about it? What do we do about this? Okay, now let me start by saying that the answers I will give will not solve the issue 100%, but it is start. Now, according to Dr. P, right, unstructured, like from what he has seen and the story and everything, right, unstructured face-to-face time is what's really missing, because people don't hang out anymore. People don't strive to meet up with one another anymore. Okay, so how do you tend to fix this unstructured face-to-face time so that we not have just an unstructured face-to-face time, but to have more of a structured unstructured face-to-face time, meaning that unstructured face-to-face time is not like you don't know this particular person, but anyway, just walk up to her plan on arguing after them. But a structured unstructured face-to-face time is whereby you kind of like know her before, probably you saw her on your dating app or whatever, then you just kind of like link up with that person. Now, like I said before, how then do we tend to have this structured unstructured face-to-face time? And the first way to practice this is through eye contact and affiliate signal. Now, one thing that happens when we tend to anchor to people is we have this escalation of affiliated signals. For example, now if I were at a club, or if you are at a club, right, and a particular girl looked at, or you saw a girl you like, and you look at that girl, and the girl not there looking at her, normally you look away. Then you now look back at the girl then look away too, and you guys are now creating this rapport of eye contact. You are feeling that energy. Now imagine now you looked at her and she looked at you, but this time you didn't look away. Instead, you looked at her, smile back, laugh, and she now smile back at you, laugh back at you. Then you're like, you now wink towards her. Okay, what is happening? You are building that rapport of signals and eye contact. Then you now walk up to her and introduce yourself. Okay, so this is a skill you should practice, increasing, because it will increase your chance of meeting with people, having that connection, that bonding. Okay, so have that comfortability to not have good eye contact because it increases those feelings and those bondings, be it is a girl or a boy. Now the second thing that I want you to look into, right, is ask you want to ask people out, ask them in a safer environment. Okay, if you don't want to deal with the person in a even deal with the person in a much more romantic way, do it in a safe environment, because that is really really important. Okay, and that's the reason why I will not recommend you hanging out with people that are at work, or maybe your co-workers, or probably your fellow students, because it can make things awkward really fast. Okay, because now you get to see them often, and they might get uncomfortable, that kind of thing. Unlike you asking a girl out that you met at the coffee shop or at the club, that kind of thing. Okay, because you see her once, and if she's not interested, you don't see her again. Unlike the one that you ask them you ask your co-worker, and she now rejected you. But guess what? She's now seeing you over and over and again. Okay, and the same thing for class as well. You don't ask. Okay, even though you want to ask, do it after the class, so that person can have that space and that chance to feel safe. Okay, now even if you want to still approach that particular girl at your workplace, watch out for those eye contact and affiliate signals. Watch them first, and if they are there, they can approach your co-worker. Okay, now the next thing to really dial down on is the most important one, which is have a relaxed dominion. Have a relaxed poise, have a relaxed composure. Okay, because we want to be relaxed and easygoing. Okay, and this is where confidence comes in, because a confident manner tends to activate this empathic circuitry in our brain in a very positive way. Okay, so have a relaxed dominion, have a relaxed self, have a composure, because when you have that composure, you're able to, it opens a lot of doors. You'll be able to listen more, you'll be able to move at your own pace, you'll be able to have a conversation that have substance instead of like trying to like rush through things. Now the last one that I'll share with you guys that I learned is that it's really, really important to have some shared context. That's like sharing the same interest. Okay, having that same interest. That's the reason why you tend to see people having couples at work and at school, because why you tend to have that shared same framework. And even though you don't have that shared same framework, you can that's where you now have to come up as warm intros, warm approach. You know, having given that trust and reliability that she can have on you. Now, these four things I just mentioned does not solve the crisis that happen in dating. Okay, like I said before, it's not my expertise, but I just share what I know that I can help you, so that you don't die out with meeting people. Even though you have your losses, still try to still try your best. You will get one or two, but still keep on trying. So the last takeaway that I want you guys to take is that your job at this point now is to understand what is going on, which I've let you understand that, okay, look, the dating world is not how it is before. It's a little bit oversaturated. It's not how it is like 10 years ago. You have to study the patterns and be able to move with it. Don't try to change it. Just be better at navigating it so that you don't get left out. If not, you just be a dumbass nigga that will grow old and not have no kids and have no legacy and die by itself in his or her bed. And I'm very, very sure you don't want that for yourself. Alright?